Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday School. Today, we're going to continue in our Hope series. So, you'll notice that the scriptures that I'm using in our Sunday School lessons are what Pastor Stephen is preaching on in the service. So, I hope that you all are able to make those connections for the next upcoming weeks. So, we're going to be talking about Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. But I'm going to read a little bit before that. So, I'm going to start with verse 27. So Isaiah 40 verses 27 through 31. Let me read it for us and then we'll get started. Why do you say, O Jacob, and speak, O Israel? My way is hidden from the Lord, and my right is disregarded by my God. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Even youth will faint and be weary, and the young will fall exhausted. But those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be faint. So Isaiah, if we've not talked about Isaiah too much, I don't think, but so Isaiah was a prophet. He was able to receive messages from God and proclaim them to the people around him. And so here we're talking about where we should place our hope. That's our whole series for the next 5 weeks. So where should our hope be? Why should we have hope in general? And so this is talking about growing, not knowing who God is and not knowing God completely. And it's very difficult to say that someone knows God completely because I don't believe there's a way for anyone here on earth to know God completely. We know aspects of God. We know who God is for us, but we do not know God completely. And so, like, why am what I'm doing? How is that separating me from God? How is God separating God's self from us, which God does not do? How is the creator of the ends of the earth? How is God so involved in my daily life? How is God so close to me? How is God able to do all these very personal things? And when you think about God, and we've talked about it before, that God is much bigger than we can ever imagine. We cannot put God in a box. We cannot say what God does, what God can do, should do, because God is God and we are not. We are not able to put God where we think God should be or what we think God should do. There will be decisions that we have no idea what God would even do in that situation. But all we know is what we are called to do as Christian people. And so we talk about in this scripture in Isaiah that God gives power. God gives power and peace and hope. Even when you are tired, you don't feel like you can go on anymore. Even when you feel like whatever you're doing is not making an impact. Even when you are falling short of where you know you can be and where you think like the expectations for you are set. You know that you can go further and it just didn't happen. But you know that God is there even when you fall short. And so this is popular imagery in the church, thinking about that God gives us strength and that everyone shall be mounted up with wings like eagles and never grow tired and always walk with God and never get tired. Now, there are times in our lives that we are going to be tired. We're going to be tired of living life in the same way that we have been. We're going to be tired of making the same decisions or going through life, muddling through. I know that, like, for me, I was tired of going to school. So you all are there in that situation at that age group. But, like, all throughout, however, 12 years of school, straightforward, and I went straight into college for another 4 years. Thank God I took a gap year between college and seminary, or else I don't know how I would have made it through. Because college, like, all of that schooling is super draining. It's tired. It's tiring. You're trying to have a life, and you're trying to do all the schoolwork and do well and get scholarships and this, that, and the other, and life just takes over. And it's hard to be able to truly enjoy the moment and enjoy God's presence, because God is with us. And sometimes it's hard to realize that, because we are too busy being tired, putting our efforts and our energy in something that doesn't necessarily matter as much as our relationships with God. So this scripture is one telling us to recognize the times in our lives when we are growing tired or we are growing weary, and to give God those things that keep us busy, those things that are making us lose hope. That our faith lives are based in hope in something greater than ourselves, hope in something that we know will ultimately give us the salvation that we need, and we are able to go to heaven to be with God, and we have been loved and graced with God's presence our whole lives. So that God is always with us, and we are given strength to make it through. So we are to give God all of those situations that make us grow tired. We're also to give God thanks for the times that we are able to come out of those pits, as we talked about last week. Those pits, those things in our lives that hold on to us and won't let us go, or the things that we are holding on to and won't let go. That God is trying to get us up out of those harmful situations, those situations that make us tired and grow weary and become powerless, and we lose our hope in the one that can save us. So read these verses again. It's Isaiah 40, verses 27 through 31. And remember that the God that was with Isaiah is with you. The God that saves from growing tired, growing weary, from growing exhausted and powerless. That God is with you. And so think about the ways that you can recognize God's presence with you. Think about the things you can pray for, those things that are making you tired and growing weary, that you are able to give those up to God and leave them with God and try to move on in the greatest ways that you can, recognizing the call that God has put on your life. So I hope that you all will continue to listen in to the Hope series that we are able to go through for the next few weeks. And we are also having Open Table, which is a worship opportunity that you all are welcome to come to. It's you'll have to RSVP online, and that's on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Feel free to bring your dinner and to be together as a family and just come and worship and be in conversation with all of our church family that is able to come at that time. And so I would invite you all to come, be a part of that worship experience, but then also come to youth group. I sent out those dates earlier in the week. We will start meeting today at 5 p.m. I had to think about that. So we are meeting today at 5 p.m. at the church, and we will have a short devotion and some games and things outside as long as the weather permits. So I hope to be able to see you all soon, and have a great week.